In this video, we're going to learn compositions of transformations. So a composition is basically when you're going to do a transformation of a transformation. So it means that if I'm going to read this, it means I'm going to do a reflection of the reflection. So I'm going to reflect over the x-axis of the reflection over y equals x. So this symbol right here represents a composition, and it means the word following. So a reflection over the x-axis following a reflection over the line y equals x. So what that really means is this composition is always going to be done first, and then this reflection is going to be done first, and then on this side, this is what's going to be done second. But you're always going to use the results from the first one. So second and use results from first. So what that means is we are going to reflect over the x-axis our results from the reflection over y equals x. So you're always going to read it backwards. You're going to go right to left. So if we look at this first example here, we're going to do this first. So this is the first one. We're going to translate, and then using the results from the translation, we're going to reflect that over the x-axis. So let's go ahead, let's graph our triangle here. So we have 1, 2. Make sure you're labeling as you graph. 1, 6. And then 6, 6 for C. And our first step here is to do the translation. So the translation is 3, 4. So that means it's going to be right 3 since it's positive, and then up 4. Or add 3 to the x values, add 4 to the y values, same thing. I'm going to just go ahead and do this one on the graph though, since I'll be doing the reflection on the graph. So I'm going to go right 3. So 1, 2, 3, then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's A prime. Then I'm going to go B is going to be right 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. C is going to be right 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. So now there's my original. So I have, or my results from translating the original. So I have A prime is going to be 4, 6. B prime is 4, 10. And C prime is 9, 10. And again, I could have gotten those first by adding 3 to each of the x values and adding 4 to each of the y values, and then graphing them. And now that I have these, I'm going to do the reflection. So now the second piece is to do the reflection, and we're going to use these. So use for reflection over the x-axis, because really I'm doing a reflection of the translation. So now that I have my translation, I'm going to reflect that over the x-axis. So my x-axis is right here. So I need to reflect that pink triangle over that line. So A is 6 units to get to the line, so I need to go 6 units from it. B prime is 10 units from that line, so I'm going to go 10 units from it. And then C is also 10 units, so I'm traveling perpendicular to the line of reflection and 10 units from it. And I go ahead and connect that, and I can see that that was a flip. And notice I put single primes. They should be double primes because this is my second transformation. So my answer to the actual question, we care about the double prime. So I really don't have to necessarily state the single primes because I want the final image, which is the double prime. So it's the result after you've done both of these things. So from here, I have A double prime is going to be 4. All right, so here we go. So we have A double prime is going to be 4, -6. And B double prime is going to be 4, -10. And C double prime is going to be 10, 9, -10. So those are my answers to the question. So let's try one more. So in this example, again, you see the composition notation. It means you're starting with this one. So this is first, this is second, using the results from the first one. So we're doing a reflection of over the x-axis of the reflection over the y-axis. So start with labeling your triangle, graphing your triangle and labeling it. So we have A, -2, -4, B, and then -8, 5. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reflect this over the y-axis. So I'm going to take this and it's going to come over the y-axis here. So A has to go 2 units to get to the y, so 2 units from it is going to be A prime. B prime, 2 units to get to the y, so go 2 units from it. So there's B prime, again, counting perpendicular to that line of reflection. C is 8 units, so I'm going to go 8 units from it. So there's the first image. And then from there, we're going to do the reflection over the x-axis, and again, using the results from the first, which means I'm using the prime triangle. So I'm using the purple triangle and I'm going to reflect over the x-axis. So in this case, my line of reflection is splitting the triangle. So that means I'm going to take A and C and they're going to come down, and B prime is going to go up. So A prime is going to go 2 units to get to the line of reflection, so it'll go 2 units from it. So that's going to be A double prime. C is 5 units, so we're going to go 5 units from it. And then B has to go up because everything has to go over the line. So 4 units to get to the line of reflection, so go 4 units from it. That's going to be B double prime. So for my answer here, I'm just going to go ahead and just state the double primes because that's actually the result from the composition. So A double prime is going to be 2, -2. B double prime is going to be 2, 4. And C double prime is 8, -5. So there are your answers. And then you have the graph as well to support it. So compositions, you could have like a third one, and you're always just going to go from right to left as you're doing them. So always going backwards when you're doing them. So just make sure that you always go backwards and you always use the results from the previous one. Sometimes you've done multiple transformations, but it's telling you to always go back to the original triangle when you're doing the next transformation. A composition always means you have to use the results from the first one. So it doesn't tell you that, but you have to know to always use the results from the first one because that's what a composition is. So go ahead, try your check for understanding problems, and then we will talk about those in class tomorrow.